Liked that. That was nice. That made me feel very special. So I know that we've already talked about what discouragement means and what hope means. I'm going to go over them one more time. That way we're refreshed, because we did some singing and some dancing and it might have just fallen out. So discouragement is losing hope and thinking about giving up. On the opposite side, hope is believing that what you're waiting for will happen. Now, do you guys know what it means to be discouraged, though? Have you ever felt being discouraged? For example, most of you guys have spelling tests, right? Each week? Yeah. Usually on a, well, most. Oh, you're lucky. I did not like spelling tests. Sir?
My teacher calls it a spelling check.
Oh, a spelling check. Okay, so you've got a spelling check or a spelling test, or you're tested on words that you need to learn to spell correctly. Have you guys ever had a test that you studied for so hard? You've been practicing, and then you get in, and the moment she says the word, you cannot think about how to spell it. And you're like, I know this. I know that I know this. Why can't I think of it? Why is this not working? You know that feeling that you get in that moment? That's discouragement. That makes you feel like, oh, no, I can't. On the other side, I know we've got a lot of people in here that play sports. And I know, Ryan, have you ever been on a team in which you just can't seem to win? Every team just kind of beats you? Yeah, that's kind of discouraging. You're 6th game in and you lost it. You're 7th game in and you lost it. That can be really discouraging. You're trying and you're trying and you're trying, and it's not happening. Do you know of a time in which you were discouraged? Mm-hmm.
Well, one time I went to the school spelling bee and I lost a word I knew, and I got like super embarrassed, and I feel like I cried for like 2 months, and I couldn't get over it for like 2 months.
So that feeling right there is discouragement. I know, and you knew the word. You know that you knew it, and you're good at this. You couldn't think of it in the moment, and that was probably really discouraging.
Yeah, my best friend won, and now I'm jealous of her.
Oh.
I scored like 3 goals.
You did? Well, that's not discouraging. I mean, it might have been discouraging for the other team because they were probably losing. Yeah. And it's hard when we lose, right? What about you, buddy?
I played soccer with my friend that goes to school with me. Mm-hmm. She had a lot of teammates. She scored like 15 goals and we scored like 2.
Was that really discouraging for you? Did that kind of make you upset?
Yeah.
Do you know why being discouraged is not a good thing? Because it leads to other things. When we're discouraged, we think, why me? Why did this happen to me? Is that a good way to think? Or is that really selfish? That's pretty selfish. Is selfish something that God likes? Does he like it when we're selfish? No. And then other times, say, for instance, this is something that happens in our house sometimes. I know that some of you guys know Carter and Miles. They want to play a game. They love a game called Among Us. I know some of you guys have played it, and I love playing it with them. However, sometimes, we're getting busy. I'm cooking dinner. They're like, hey, Mom, can we play Among Us after dinner? And I think, okay, yeah, we could probably do that. I've got time. This will work. And then you know what happens after dinner? I get a business phone call, or a dog throws up, or there's a thing that needs to be clean, or just life kind of happens, something that's out of my control. But it makes them sad because I can't do what I told them that I could do. And that makes them feel really discouraged. So sometimes we get discouraged even at home, even when the person doesn't mean to, because you guys know I love playing. Like, I love video games. I love playing with my boys. It's a lot. It's great for us.
I'm a video gamer.
Me too.
It's like,
I think
there's
there's
one
imposter
imposter
Yep.
who kills.
Okay.
Showing you a picture.
Yep. All right. But remember, we want to follow our up rules. We're going to sit down, sit up, look up, listen up, zip up, hand up. I love when you guys tell me things too. It makes me feel very special when you share with me. But you guys see how that can be discouraging at home too. Have you guys ever had, by a show of hands, a parent say, I can do something, and then something happened and they weren't able to do it for you anymore? Yeah, a lot of us have been there. I know I've been there too. That's discouraging though. That makes us feel like, but I wanted it now. You told me that we could do this now. Did you guys know that there was a point in which the disciples were discouraged? There was a moment before Jesus had to leave us, and he knew he was going to have to leave us, because what happened to Jesus? What did he do for us?
Died on the cross.
He died on the cross. And before he died on the cross, he had a conversation with his disciples. He said, hey guys, I'm going to have to leave you. And I'm going to read you guys that verse. Sorry, I left my Bible at home, guys. It was one of those crazy mornings. So John 13:36. Simon Peter asked, Lord, where are you going? And Jesus replied, you cannot go with me now, but you will follow me later. What do you think he's talking about?
He's talking about that he has to leave so he could die on the cross.
That's right. And he says, you can't go with me now, but you can follow me later. Where is later?
Heaven.
That's right. He said, you can't come with me to where I'm going to now, but later, because I have made promises and things for you to hope for, you can come with me later. But they didn't quite understand that hope part just yet. So he asked, but why can't I come with you now, Lord? He asked, I'm ready to die for you. Jesus answered, die for me. I tell you the truth, Peter. Before the rooster crows tomorrow morning, you will deny me 3 times. Do you guys remember that? Do you remember when we talked about that about a couple months ago? When it was Peter, because he was sitting in the synagogue listening to things happening to Jesus, and he said, no, I don't know that man. No, I don't know that man. I'm not a disciple. I'm not the one that was following him. And 3 times he denied them because he was discouraged. He was upset. He wanted to go with Jesus. He wanted to be with him. And sometimes when we get discouraged, we make bad choices. Sometimes we even sin. And what is sin?
Sin is bad.
Anything we think, say, or do that breaks God's law or makes him sad. Do you think it made Jesus sad
Yes.
when Peter didn't have hope and denied him? I would be really sad if my kids were like, nope, that's not my mom. I don't love her. Nope. She made me upset. And now nope. Wouldn't that make you sad if your parents were like, that's not my kid? That would make me sad.
Yeah.
So they didn't have hope because they were discouraged. So again, when we get discouraged or we think that we are losing hope and we think about giving up, we make poor choices. And sometimes we sin. And did you know another thing about being discouraged? It's contagious. When you're upset, have you ever noticed that sometimes that falls on other people too? Yeah, we've been there sometimes. I know that when I get discouraged or I'm upset, my husband, he can feel it. And sometimes it puts us all in a bad mood. Or say one of the boys are upset and he gets cranky. Have you guys ever been around a cranky kid?
Yeah. No.
They're not fun.
I am.
And that makes me cranky. And you don't even mean to, but it's contagious. It spreads from one person to another. But what helps battle being discouraged? Hope. Do you remember what hope is? The definition of hope? Do you want to come up and read it for us? Come read it for us. I love your dress. You look very pretty. Can you read that to the whole group to remind us?
Believing that what you are waiting for will happen.
So what we're waiting for will happen. Have you ever had hope that something good was going to happen? Yeah? Good. Thank you for doing that. Hope. A lot of times we do a lot of hoping around Christmas, right? What are you guys hoping for around Christmas?
Presents.
Presents. Everybody loves presents. So that's the feeling. Hold on to that feeling when we're talking about it. So when we talk about hope, I want you to think about the things that you're hoping for, that you're waiting for, that you want to come. Yes, Ryan?
Jesus.
You're hoping for Jesus. Oh, Ryan, I could hug you right now. Yes, we are always hoping for Jesus because he made promises for us, right? Promises that we can hold on to. Do you guys remember some of the promises? What did he promise us?
That he would always answer to our prayers.
Yes, he does. What's another promise he gave us, Reese?
Yes.
Reagan. Reese. Reagan.
Reagan.
Got it. Okay.
He will love us forever.
He will love us forever. What's another promise?
He will always keep us safe.
Yep. What's another promise? Yes, that is another promise that he did give. A lot of people don't know that promise, but yes, he promised to never flood the earth again. He also promised that he's going to prepare a place for us. Where is he preparing for us?
Heaven.
Heaven, I heard it, yes. So we have a lot of things that God gives us hope. Stephen, what else does he?
You learn about where these promises are.
You know, there is a beautiful, wonderful place called the Bible that lists a lot of the promises. And if we're looking for them in particular, you'll find a lot of them in John when he's talking to the disciples about him leaving.
I didn't know about the one flood. I forgot about that one.
Well, that's going to probably be in the Old Testament. Yeah, when he talks about that. So this is when Jesus is on earth. He's talking to the disciples and he says, hey guys, I'm going to leave, but here are some of the things that you should remember. And this is when he tells us that he's the vine and we are the branches. And if we remain in him and he remains in us, we will bear much fruit. Do you guys remember the fruits?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a topic for another day. But these are the lessons that he's giving. He's saying, hey, if you're with me, I'm with you. If you pray and you talk to me, I will respond to you. And just like Miss Jenna said, sometimes the answer is no. But whether or not we know that's a good thing or not, that's an answer. And sometimes we have to be patient for an answer. But it can be discouraging waiting. Have you guys ever had to wait for something?
Yeah.
And did you feel like it was taking forever?
Forever.
Oh, forever. We want the good things like Christmas. I feel like once Thanksgiving hits, that's all I'm waiting for. I just love Christmas because I love giving gifts. It's my favorite, watching them open. So I'm hoping and I'm waiting for that. But I feel like it takes forever. Does anybody else feel like it takes forever waiting for those things? Do you think sometimes we can get impatient when we're waiting? Do you think sometimes we make bad choices when we get impatient?
Yes.
Do you see how discouragement can lead to sin?
Yes.
So we have to be careful. Now, a lot of this is going to talk about the discouragement side and then the hope side. But do you guys know how we have hope? By having faith. Do you know what it means to have faith? It means believing in God with your whole heart. How many of you guys believe in God with your whole heart? You feel it down into your bones. There's no questions asked. It's just, it is. Did you know that there are a lot of adults that are not very good at that? Because we can get discouraged with work, with life, with bills. You know, it's easier for children to have faith and to hold on to faith because you're closer to God. So this is a great time to build your faith, to memorize our scriptures. That way, when you get older, it'll be easier to hold on to your faith. So what you guys are doing now is really, really cool. Because you guys are going to be stronger Christians. Because you're going to know how to have hope through faith. And faith is believing Him wholeheartedly. Do you believe that God promised these things?
Yes.
Do you believe that He promised that there's a place for us?
Yes.
That He hears our prayers? That He loves us unconditionally? That He died on the cross for us?
Yes.
That's faith. And because of faith, you can have hope. And hope is believing that what you're waiting for is going to happen. Do we believe that we're going to make it to heaven?
No.
That's right. Yes, yes. Yes, we do. Yeah, goober. Yes, we do. We want to make it to heaven. Yes, sir.
Sometimes, whenever, on the weekends, sometimes I don't get to sleep with my mom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I hate you, Mom.
Well, see, but do you actually hate your mama? No, do you think maybe it makes her sad when we say that?
And then it makes me sad that I said that.
See? And that's because you were impatient or because you didn't get your way. And that's being discouraged. And when we're discouraged, we say things maybe we don't mean, or we feel things we don't want to feel. So we have to make sure that we hope in God, because that's what God wants us to do. And we do that through faith. So what's our word up?
God wants me to hope in Him.
All right, let's do it again. And I don't want to hear Miss Jenna. I want you guys to be louder than Miss Jenna. You ready? Word up.
God wants me to hope in Him.
And how do we have hope? It's through faith. It's through our faith in God that we can believe in His promises that we are able to have hope. And there's a couple of things that my lesson plan that says kind of helps us get to that right place, to be able to work on having the right attitude, because we don't want this face. We don't want this one. Do we? No. We want this one. He looks happier, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He has more faith.
Yeah.
He has more hope because he has faith. Yes.
He's reading the Bible.
He is reading the Bible, because that's where do we find our connection with God? Through prayer and through the Bible. How do we build our faith? We build our faith through our conversations with God and our relationship with Him, which helps us have hope. Okay? So a couple of things that can help us, which I thought were really cool, because sometimes I have a hard time being discouraged. I don't know if you guys know it, but sometimes it's hard being a mama. And I get stressed out, and I need help with my faith and having hope. So what I like to do, and what this helps us, is that we think about God's faithfulness to us. So not only do we have faith in Him, but He has faith in us, right? He believes in us. And because He believes in us, that makes me feel good. Knowing that somebody believes in me, even when I'm discouraged or I'm sad. Does it make you feel good sometimes when you're upset that your parents still love you even if you do something wrong?
Yes.
Yeah. That's just like God. Because God is our Heavenly Father, right? So He has faith in us even when we're discouraged. And that helps us have hope. Hope in what we've been waiting for will come. That He will come. That He will be with us. That He will answer our prayers. It also tells us that we have the courage. And remember what Ms. Jenna was saying. Courage is being brave even when it's hard. Have you guys had to have courage? Have you guys been brave even though it's hard? Have you guys ever got a doctor's visit? Those are scary. I don't like going to the doctor, but I have to be brave. I have to have courage. I got to do it even though I don't like it. And sometimes being impatient or being selfish, we might need to combat that with being brave and saying, you know what? I can wait. I can do this. I can have courage while I'm waiting. Okay? Even when we're waiting for Christmas. Can you guys have courage when you're waiting for Christmas? Maybe? Okay.
I've done it for 2 years.
Well, we'll work on it together as a group. We'll be patient for Christmas. And then one of the best things that I've ever found is talking about being discouraged. So I had a really bad thing happen to me earlier in January, and it was really sad for my family. And it was really, really hard for us. And I'm still having time. We lost somebody that was super special to us. Have you guys ever lost somebody in your family or lost a pet and it makes you really sad? No. Well, we lost somebody and it was really hard. And there are some days that I still have a hard time. And all that I found that really helps is telling somebody that I'm having a hard time. I call my husband. I say, Travis, babe, I'm having a hard time today. This really hurts. And I feel like the moment that I say it, God hears it, and He is immediately working in my heart. Do you guys ever feel like when you bottle it up and you don't tell people why you're angry or you don't tell people why you're upset, it's harder to handle? Have you guys ever been there where you're just frustrated in your room and you're mad and you're fuming? But then when you go talk to mom or to a sibling, you're feeling a little bit better? You know who we can always talk to, even if there's nobody around? Who can we talk to?
God.
God. That's right. So a good way to battle being discouraged or being upset that things aren't going our way or not when we want them to or it's not happening the way we want it is by having faith in God, which gives us hope. Okay? So we're going to do the word up again. So let me get you guys all to stand up and shake it out. We've been sitting for a minute. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. Let me see the wiggles, Ryan. Where are your wiggles? No wiggles today? I'll come tickle you later and we'll get the wiggles, okay? No? All right, so word up. God wants me to have in Him. And how do we have hope? Through faith. And how do you build your faith? By reading the Bible. Very good, you guys. And so our memory verse for today, which is going to help you have faith so you can be hopeful, is Psalm 31:24. Can you guys read it with me?
Be
Be strong and let your heart take courage, all of you who wait for the Lord. Psalm 31:24. Awesome. Thank you guys for letting me talk with you today. I really appreciate it. I had a lot of fun. We'll get together after class, okay, Eli?
Thank you, Miss Charlene. Awesome. This was such an important lesson to learn today. That we should.
During the Passover meal, Jesus and his disciples reclined at the table. Jesus knew he would soon return to heaven. Jesus loved his disciples to the end, and he wanted to show them his love. Jesus got up from the table, took off his outer robe, and wrapped a towel around his waist. Then he poured water into a basin and began washing his disciples' feet. Usually, a servant would wash a guest's feet when he entered a house. Jesus, the King of Kings, was doing what a servant would do. Peter did not want Jesus to wash his feet. "You will never wash my feet, ever," Peter said. Jesus replied, "If I don't wash you, you have no part with me." Peter said, "Lord, not only my feet, but also my hands and my head." Jesus told Peter that one who is bathed only needs to wash his feet because he is already clean. Jesus wasn't talking about physical cleanliness. He was talking about someone who has been forgiven of his sins by repenting and trusting in Jesus. Then Jesus put on his robe again and reclined at the table. Jesus said, "I assure you, one of you will turn against me." The disciples were very upset. They wanted to know who would turn against Jesus. John was sitting beside Jesus, so Peter motioned for him to ask who it was. Jesus said, "He's the one I give the piece of bread to after I have dipped it." Then Jesus dipped the bread and gave it to Judas. Judas was the one who would betray Jesus. Jesus told Judas, "What you're doing, do it quickly." Judas immediately left. The other disciples didn't understand why Judas left. They thought maybe Jesus had given Judas a special job to do for the Passover. After Judas left, Jesus told the disciples what was going to happen. Jesus said he was going away where the disciples could not follow him. The disciples didn't understand why Jesus was talking this way. Jesus said, "If I go away and prepare a place for you, I will come back and receive you to myself, so that you can be with me where I am." Jesus gave them a new command. "Love one another as I have loved you." No one has greater love than this, than someone would lay down his life for his friends. Jesus said that after he died, rose again, and went to heaven, he would send the Holy Spirit to be with them forever. Then, Jesus prayed for his disciples. As Jesus celebrated the Passover with his disciples, he shared with them his last meal before his crucifixion. Jesus washed the disciples' feet, something that only the lowliest servant would do. Jesus showed love to his enemies when he washed Judas's feet as well. As sinners, we are all enemies of God, but God proved his love for us, that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us.
I leave with you my peace I give to you, not as the world gives, do I give to you. And let not your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid. Let not your heart